Hello everybody, and welcome back to the West Coast. It has unfortunately been a little bit too long since I have recorded an episode of this, but I am back and ready to go. You might notice a few things different right off the bat here, and that is that we have all new machinery here. All our tractors have been replaced with new Hollands. I think it's a little bit more realistic that the farm would all have the one brand of machinery. So we have a new Holland T5.165 here. I have the big one here, the T7, and then I believe this is a T4. Yeah, T4, little utility tractor there. And there has been a few other changes. I've done a little bit of work offline. Let me just get rid of this help window, and I want it back to pounds if at all possible. And we still have £333,000, which is nice. If you come over here and look at this field, I finished planting the poplar trees. It took, and I am not kidding here, 30 pallets of poplars to do that half of the field. So that should bring in a ridiculously large yield, I hope. And on the side, I think it's barley or wheat we have planted. I also planted this row of grass here using Pro Seed, left some tracks in the middle to drive up, which I think look quite nice, and at the end here we just have plain old boring grass. But I have plans for this end bit here, which I will actually do just now. I would like to place some fruit trees, if I can find them. There they are. Orange trees and apple trees that we have available to us. So I am just going to place a row of apple trees here. These bring us in money every single day, or every single hour. Put a row of orange trees in the middle there. I'm not going to place one there because I'll get in the way. And another orange tree on this end. I'll place an orange tree down here. So we have a little orchard going on here. It does mean that I do need to also purchase a... Oh, that's the other thing I changed. I sold a lot of my machinery. The other thing I need is the water trailer. I'll go for the standard one. Actually, no, I tend to go for the standard one. This one takes petrol. This one also just takes petrol. There's a fuel trans, a liquid trans. Main color, I'll go for really light blue, I think. Actually, no, that'll look terrible. I'll just go for silver. So we need to go and pick that up and water all of our trees. So there's a good chunk of our money away right there. This is the first episode of the West Coast that I have recorded in the new era of the channel. And it is also conveniently around the time that I get my tower on the go. So this video is being recorded in 60 FPS with considerably better graphics. Hopefully you can see the difference. I certainly noticed the difference between the old computer I was using and the tower I'm using now. It's considerably better graphics in my opinion. I will let you decide. I have visible mirrors now, which is a nice change. So the game being recorded at 60 FPS does affect the gameplay. When I'm recording at 30 FPS I can record in constant 60 FPS in gameplay, but because I'm recording, it's putting a bit of a demand on the graphics card. which unfortunately does cause the FPS to drop occasionally. But as of right now, it's actually sitting at 60 FPS, which is nice to see. I do need to purchase some animals at some point. There's our little Joskin, almost identical to the other one, just with a slightly different logo. The other thing is I have had to disable manual attaching for this episode. I was having an issue with my HUD. But I have resolved that with the use of creator tools. So it does unfortunately mean that creator tools doesn't play very nice when you also have manual attaching, because they both use the same buttons. But small price to pay, I think. So the ground is still wet, but we do need to water our trees so that they can start pulling in a bit of an income. I returned all of the leased equipment, as well as selling some of our own. And I also got that field planted with potatoes. So we're going to have quite a large potato yield this year, but I also need to think about getting some other fields ready with just normal grain crops. I think that would be a good thing to do. I can't quite remember where the water trigger is. I'm hoping there's one here. It's there. Don't want to run over our toolbox. That wouldn't be a good thing to do. Or reverse into a log with our new trailer. Not very good at reversing if you haven't already noticed. I do that every time. Unfortunately, water does cost us. I have no idea why, but it does. And so that says full, so we'll head back into the field. I did opt to get a couple of these New Hollands in Warrior Black. I think it looks quite smart. Our orchard is looking quite nice up there. So these work just like greenhouses. You stop next to them and press R to refill them, and then there's a slightly lower than preferable 2D texture for the fruit once there's water on them, but it's convenient to know which trees have been watered and which ones require water. Oh, I've crashed into something there. Given that we have quite a few trees, it's obviously quite useful to know which ones are needing to be watered. This area will all become grass as well, which will be left. I will not be harvesting the grass on this little patch, just simply because we have the trees. There's a slight issue with the trees that they do that. I have no idea what's causing it. I'm assuming that something to do with how they're placed in the ground. So the idea is these will bring us in a good bit of money. It's the hope anyway. Unfortunately, we don't have any ridiculously large grass fields, which I would like to have. I have a few smaller ones, but nothing too large. I feel 9 would be quite nice to have. And maybe just one or so more trees to do. 2 more by the looks of it. I missed the trigger for that one. I'll come back to it. Just gonna almost use all of this water trailer, which is pretty much what we want. We don't want a wasted trip every time we come up here to water our trees. If you add manure, they produce a higher yield. All of this field needs sprayed again as well, but I think I don't have a sprayer anymore, unfortunately. I don't expect there to be any traffic on this road, but you never know. We have a new foraging wagon as well. I do like that one. It's a mod called Old Foraging Wagons. I opted for it in the class decals. So let's just have a little look at our map here, see what we own and what's ready. As you can see, field 10 is split into 3, field 15 is done. What is in field 14? Absolutely nothing is in field 14. Not really happy about that. What about ground composition? So field 4 definitely needs sprayed again, and I think field 15 and 10 will need going over once more. But what I'd actually like to do is hitch up to our cedar and obviously it's wheat that's in that field, and we are going to hire a worker for this. Don't know why that's open. Obviously we ploughed this field, can't quite remember. Right. I will lower it, turn it on. And I'll just do the usual, I'll go around the headland once and then hire a worker. So there are bigger cedars out there that I could get, but I think this one's big enough for the size of farm that we have. I think this is going to make a nice grass field. Might seem strange having this field as grass, but I'd like to do a bit of silage, as well as have a bit of food for the animals. Looking quite nice there. I can't remember how much power this tractor has, but it looks like it could be doing with just a little bit more. As I think you can usually see it at 12 miles an hour, and this isn't much of a hill. Hopefully the worker doesn't moan too much about that. But I usually wouldn't do the headland first when I'm seeding. I'd usually stripe the field, specifically in this series, but given that we're going to hire a worker and they're easily confused, I will go around the edge of it myself, just so they have a better edge to follow than the edge of the field. Hopefully this won't take too long. So we're down to just 250,000, which is unfortunately a lot less than I particularly want. I think it is getting very close to the time where I look at getting a sheep. I have no idea what happened here. I need to collect my eggs apparently. So if you haven't watched my Oakfield Farm episode 16, then I would encourage you to do so, as there's a channel update there. But for those of you who are not a fan of that map, I'll just give you a brief rundown of what was said for the channel update. The general intention for the channel is to return to focusing on Farming Simulator, as that was what the channel was originally intended to be anyway. I'm going to continue my other projects, like Banished, as well as a few new ones, but I'm going to try and upload 4 episodes of Farming Simulator every single day, as I have 4 current series of Farming Simulator. Obviously there is this one, which is the West Coast, there is Oakfield Farm, and there is Oregon Springs, as well as my new series, which is The Valley, The Old Farm. I would encourage you to watch that series, as I'm enjoying that one quite thoroughly. I'm thoroughly enjoying that one. I can't speak today at all. It's terrible. I by no means will be not stopping the other projects I'm doing. There will still be the likes of Banished. Euro Truck Simulator will also be making a return to the channel. No, you want to go the other way, so I want you to turn that on, and thanks to Creator Tools I have to press that twice. No, don't do that. Don't. Close. There you go. You got there in the end. So he'll probably run out of seed during that field. But we've got all this grass here. I never even picked up the grass the first time round, unfortunately. But we'll leave it to grow into summer before cutting it again. I wonder if I still have a front weight. Hopefully I do. So we're jumping into the T5, this is. Very smoky tractor, this one. And I want to hook up to the plough. This has the road pack on it, with very fancy beacons indeed. And LED rear lights. Very, very nice. I don't have a front weight, do I? Let me just check. It doesn't appear like I do. That's unfortunate. Well, I will just get one. I'll go for this one. And I will reset it for speed purposes. Oh dear. The steering on this tractor is a little bit wonky. There's a very large front weight for this. It's already struggling with it. Well, let's try this again with our 1 ton front weight. It's still. I find that hard to believe. Surely this tractor is big enough. Let me just check. Is that not one of the biggest front weights you can get, or am I... No, I got that completely wrong. I'll go for the 2.5 ton weight. I should have known better. I've been playing Farm Simulator for long enough. I like how smoky this tractor is. It is not just a normal T5, it is a T5 with black power. So it burns coal quite dramatically. Unfortunately that does affect frame rate quite dramatically. That front weight does look a little bit ridiculous on this tractor. But it will hopefully stop the tractor tipping or wheeling, will it? It does, but only just, which is unexpected. Can I get the wheel, please? Thank you. Oh dear. Been a little while since I drove with a plough on the back. I have no idea why the wiper is on. But it is. It was on when I bought the tractor and it was raining at the start of this episode, so maybe that is why. That mirror is exceedingly useful. So is that one. There must be a way to fold all these things out and turn the likes of the mirror off. The wipers off. Let me just change it to this. That's the door. That folds the mirrors out. What does that do? Opens the sunroof, fair enough. Cab light. Radio aerial. Oh, radio aerial. GPS track, cool. Rear window, cab light. Rear window again. Close the passenger seat. This one here. There we go. Perfect. Now. I do like interactive controls. It is nice to have it. Some tractors do it, some tractors don't. This one has lots of it by the looks of it. Now what I'm about to do may seem strange, but there is a very good reason for it. But we're going to plough field 8. Like I said, it might seem strange, but there is a reason. I just need to find the edge of the field, I suppose. Oh, it still struggles. Well, I found the edge of the field, so that's a bonus. Where is the edge of the field? It's not going to be a very useful row, this one. There's quite a lot on the edge of this field here of grass. Again, I'm just going to go around the edge just so I have some kind of idea where the edge is. probably turn the awesome beacon off as well. Been a little while since I've done any ploughing. But this is just a little field. So it won't take us too terribly long, I hope, although we are back to using the small plough, as I did only lease the other plough. Kind of an unusual shape to this field, I think. Seems to have quite a thick headland. For whatever reason. Caught on that tree. I think I can see where the edge of the field is there. Or obviously not. Probably a quicker way to do this, but again, just looking for the edge of the field. Or to get reasonably close to the edge of the field. Give us an actual idea how big this field is as well, which is no bad thing. It is not a very big field. I'll just loop around like that. Start with this little section down here, I think. Not entirely sure that is the edge of the field, but it does seem to be. Let me just check here. It almost definitely is. This might not be the quickest way to plough a field, but it's the way I'm going to do this little edge, or this little section over here anyway. Missing plenty there. I'll come back and do that later. Just want to get some of this field done. Well, most of it, to be honest. Well, it needs to all be done, but it's just this little section here that I want to start with. So that really is the edge of the field there. Again, missing a few bits and pieces here and there. I will come back and get them. So this episode will be a little bit longer because I want to finish ploughing this field in this episode. been a little while since I started and finished a job on this series, although I believe this is only episode 5 just now. My intention is to have at least 2 years in relation to the Seasons mod on this map, if not longer. But a minimum of 2 years, I'd say. I've installed a few new mods, as I previously mentioned, one of which being the gritter attachment, so when winter comes I can grit the roads as well as using the snowblower and the plough, which is a bit more realistic for the type of setting that's on this map. You wouldn't necessarily use a snowblower type system in the United Kingdom. As far as I'm aware, I've personally never seen one being used. But gritters you see all the time. In fact, we're in April and I'm still having gritters drive past my house multiple times a day. But then again, I live in Scotland, so I get gritters driving past my house almost all the time anyway. So I'll just tidy up these last few bits here. That bit over there too. Making quite a mess of this field, but I don't mind too much as long as it gets done. I don't mind if all the furrows are nice and even. Ploughing's not something I've done an awful lot of, so it will get better with time. So now the idea would be to do the long section. If we can, if it will let us. This won't take very long at all, as it's pretty much a rectangular field now. We got the little annoying bit of the edge done first. Tractor is struggling for grip. Could probably be doing with using the T7, I think it is on this. Or even just getting a bigger tractor altogether. But I opted to go for New Hollands on this map, so without getting a T9 Smart Track, which I don't particularly want, because it doesn't really seem reasonable to have something anywhere near that size for a farm the size that we have. Is it going to let me finish this off? It is. I want to straight line it over here somewhere. I'm gonna guess it here. We'll leave this weird little bit at the end here for the last. But we'll come back to it, don't worry about that. No patch of grass will be left unturned. I do like how the tyres fall into the furrows like they do. I think that looks quite smart. forever amazed by this game. It just gets better every single time I play it. Which is rare for a game, to be honest. I've logged quite a lot of hours on this game and still impressed by it. I will not admit to exactly how many hours I've done, but it's more than a few. So it's kind of a weird shaped field, but it's what we own, and it was quite cheap, this field as well. We do have field 7 to do as well, but we'll not do that today. Hopefully our worker hurries up and finishes in the field he's working in, so we can get this field seeded, ready for the crop to grow. That actually needs to be done tomorrow, same with field 7. And I think I'll go for, I think it was wheat that I planted in the poplar field. So again, do the same thing. Whatever crop that is, we'll also plant over here. Just so we're only growing a few different types of crop. As I don't want to do too many different types, although it might be better for income, it's just a little bit irritating for gameplay. So when I was planting the poplars, it took me no less than, I think it was like 3 hours to actually finish that field off, including the time for loading the trailer, and it was just unreal. I can't see me doing poplars again like that. Not sure if there's a better way to plant them, but that's the only way that I knew how to do it. So yeah, don't think I'll be doing that again unless I get a ridiculously good yield back from it, which, to be honest, it owes me a good yield. It owes me a very good yield, in fact. But we'll see when it's time to harvest them. They do take quite a long time to grow, unfortunately. But I just wanted something a little bit different. I've not done poplars in the past, so I just thought it was something new to record. And I am also looking forward to having quite a large potato yield this year as well. I have 2 reasonably big fields with nothing but potatoes in them, so hopefully that brings me back something. Potatoes aren't really worth an awful lot, but hopefully I get a good quantity of them. That's the plan anyway. Things very rarely go to plan, but you can always try. Couple more passes with this and we'll be done, and we'll come back to do this little section at the end here. We have rain on the way, unfortunately. It's forever raining. This plough's not very big, It seems to be a little bit too heavy for even this machine, which is not a small machine to be honest. Not the biggest tractor in the world, right enough, but reasonably useful. And it just seems to struggle with it. So I'm not sure why that is. This was supposed to be a good secondary tractor, but if it's struggling to use the plough, which is really what I'd use the secondary tractor for, then I can't see me keeping it for very long. I'll maybe find a use for it somewhere else on the farm though. Maybe the spraying tractor. As of yet, I have not seen any kind of income from the trees, I don't think. Maybe a little bit of one. Actually, just going to reverse back and get that bit, because that's just one little bit out there all by itself. I missed it altogether. There we go. Try and get all of this bit done in one. I think there'll be a bit left at the very edge. Or at the very end, should I say. Maybe a little bit left here. No, I managed to get all of that somehow. No complaints. I was expecting to leave a little bit there. So now we just have this little section at the end here. So we'll just start by clearing off this edge. I'll reverse back and get that last little bit. Try to keep the tractor in a straight line would be nice though. Just fold the plough up for transportation. Unfortunately we can't fold it up from the other side, it has to be rotated and then folded. But that's this tiny little field ploughed. I suppose it's not the smallest field in the world. Field 7 looks like it's a reasonable size. I think this tractor is just a little bit too small for this plough. What we're actually going to do is leave the plough and this tractor in this field just now. So we'll be coming back down this way with more equipment anyway. What we'll do is we'll just put it at the edge of the field here. Like so. Maybe that's what I was doing wrong. No, that makes things... yeah, maybe that's what I was doing wrong. Or not, because the plough is now acting very strange. I'll just leave the tractor here in the bushes and close the gate on our way out, just so that the tractor is at least somewhat secure. Now I want to go down this way a little bit. The path is just here. And there is a gold nugget. There's another one over here actually. Money seems to be going up, so we're obviously getting something from these trees. Obviously not an awful lot, but hopefully it'll be enough to offset the likes of a bank loan, or even the vehicle running cost would be quite nice. Did I get the other golden nugget from over here? I must have. 40%. Apparently. Doesn't tell me what this is. Wheat. So, rest of the farm will be producing wheat. So that's what we'll be focusing on in the next episode. But unfortunately that is all we have time for today. We have gone over time by about 15 minutes, unfortunately. But hopefully you have enjoyed this episode anyway. If you have, don't forget to leave a like on this video and head over to my channel page and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to, you can also hit the bell icon to be notified about any future updates. I'll also take this opportunity to remind everyone that you can head over to my Patreon page. The link is on the end card of all of my recent videos, and any patron, I'm not sure what they're called actually, donations are very much appreciated, but absolutely not necessary. All my content will remain free forever. I will never change that. But if you would like to leave a donation for me, I have a tier 1 donation, which is $2.50, I believe it is, every month. And if you do that, your name will be mentioned in a video of your choosing, and I'm working towards having it so that I can animate my end card so that my patrons have their names displayed on every single video. But that is a service that is only available to people who give donations, unfortunately. But if you don't want to give a donation, then you don't have to. You can just enjoy my videos. I don't mind that at all. I do this for free, and I will continue to do it for free. But thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.